number of different strategies, and there's a phase where then the ideas are put together, and then those ambassadors go out and they get everyone to vote. And that voting happens digitally, but it also happens by going to the churches. It goes going to the community groups and saying, this is our second meeting. You meet twice with those groups, one to get the ideas, one to get their feedback once you've collected the ideas, and then projects start to happen. I mean, that's one idea, but I think that's the thing we have to figure out is what's the process?
Do we want to be directive or collaborative or hybrid?
I think it's a little bit different for each area, because each area has kind of got defined community leadership. And there are certainly people that know who that defined community leadership is in that community, and I think it's an important thing about how do you go and you pull people together or find out where they're already coming together, and and then bring the idea forward. And you'll see kind of who evolves out of the group that wants to be engaged in it. But I think the key, like you were saying, is you do it at the front end, and then out of that you find kind of a group of people that will continue to move it forward, provide the ideas, and circulate it through their networks.
Yeah, I think we need those champions. We need those people that will continue to push this project forward and to tie it into their community or whatever the constituency that they represent in a meaningful way.
I think the West Wisconsin Avenue is a little more difficult because you kind of got the business interests with your group. Then Marquette's got a lot of the businesses and students in terms of the whole West Side initiative that they've got going on there. And I know that there used to be really strong block groups in that your West Side. I think there are still people around that are really active in those. And so there's ways you could kind of find the key people there. Talk to them about what we're trying to do and what it could mean for the neighborhood.
So as a lot of people, sometimes when you throw these out there and try to find leaders, you tend to attract people who have the greatest ambition. And their ambition is sort of ambition. But we're all, I would venture to say, we're all ambitious people. So and what that means we also have our own sort of purpose or agenda, whether that agenda is for good or for our own use or for badness or unhelpfulness. But maybe finding a way to mitigate that. Not people who are ambitious, but people who are eager to move forward, but their ambition is driven by a desire to benefit their constituents as opposed to my own.
But that's always true. You just have to figure out, you have to understand the players and melt it.
I think I mentioned that specifically because I think that what I sometimes hear is that the perception of some of these larger initiatives is that they're, like I'm always going back to the same people over and over again, the loudest people in the room who don't really represent the broad swath, they're just the loudest people in the room that get projects or get on the committee. I don't necessarily have a way to mitigate that specifically.
To add to the in-kind match things that I've been recommended to try to find some philanthropist organizations who might see this as a scalable model. So how could this tire, benefit other car-centric cities? Because how much money is the city paying to ship these huge trucks that really can't carry that many tires that aren't broken down? And how can we put those back into our own communities? The number of tires we would never run out. But something to sort of leverage a conversation with the city to say, people believe in this, now we need you to work with us. Like you collect up to 5 tires is the case from residents. Where do those go? How much does it cost you to get rid of those? Could we take those away from you, save you some money, and then we have, the material to work with, and then a budget, which could create jobs.
Do what they're used to actually sell them?
No.
I mean, they're old, the tires they take off there.
They have some sort of branding system where it says this is Goodyear, and I paid $2 to send this tire off to Auburndale, Wisconsin.
And then what?
And then they're either burned in like a controlled environment for fuel, or they're frozen, the opposite end of the spectrum. If you want to freeze or good health. You freeze them and then crack pack them because they're brittle, and then magnets pull them out, and then they go through several mulching stages. And then they're either used as just, you know, like rubber mulch, like in playground areas, or their chemicals are added and they become sort of more contemporary finish.
So that they are, even the ones that are burned for fuel?
Yeah.
So they're used?
Yeah.
And it's not, okay.
22% of what we discard is used. 78% is.
What do they do with the
output.
rest of it? Or is that, or are the tire dealers not the problem?
They would go to landfills, I believe.
From tires, from car dealerships and tire stores also? Right?
Mm. I guess the best way I can answer is 78% is not being repurposed. So that may end up in alleys, it may end up like, at one point they thought it would start a coral reef.
What I'm trying to.
Now they're trying to
Well, they
get
used to
like,
put them in the bottom of the rivers to hold the sediment down. I mean, that's where they pull the tires out of the rivers, not because people dump them.
right.
It was an
Exactly.
ecological solution to keep the heavy metals.
What I'm trying to figure out is if tires in an alley, that's hard to reclaim. You have to go find them.
Right,
But if automobile dealers and tire stores
right.
are not repurposing, in your word,
Mhm.
a lot of tires, that's a ready source.
Right. Right, and like,
Then they're happy to get rid of them if they're not making money off of getting rid of them.
Well, he is a ready source, and just the opposite, you pay to have your tires taken away. So there's no, so then people would probably be happy
To
to
just
be given
donate
that.
them.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we can certainly get them for free, but then is there a revenue source? They
Right,
were
right.
to pair with the city to say, okay, what's your budget for this? You know,
Right, yeah.
if anyone can throw away 5 tires and any like trash collection, that is a ton of material. There's a ton of weight, which means that's
Well,
why
it's a
land.
ton, it must cost the city a lot to get rid of those.
Right.
Landfill diversion is hot, right, I mean, that's why they're doing deconstruction of houses and not demolition.
Mm.
We're starting to do more of that.
So I have a question, just to try to attempt to wrap things together. Can every person go around and name that one seated art project that you would be most excited to see? So whether that's, I want to see every storefront on Wisconsin Avenue have an artist in there, or I want to see a light installation on this building, like, just go around and tell me what the thing you're most excited about, just so I get an idea of a couple of things we might want to propose as our seated projects versus a process for more community input. Okay, go.
I want to, there's a YouTube video of stairs that are made into a piano. You step on each stair and it goes bing, boom, 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 boom. That's what I want to see. Since you put me in the spot,
Okay.
you're welcome.
So the public art,
That's public art, yeah. Interactive public art.
Jared.
you know, I want to say the Mecca floor, but that's really not the inside.
It counts.
Yeah.
Mecca floor?
That's
I really want to see that installed. Yeah.
Mm.
I want to see funding for my organization, which is somewhat selfish, but like what we're trying to do is find pockets in the city that can create dialogue between diverse groups and diverse interests. And we can do some of that, but like, you know, swings, a tire and broke, like we can afford to do that. And some of the simplicity, I think, is what helps. But there are other things that I think we could do, you know, just little pocket parks. But no one's going to fund that. It is an art, the reclamation of space, and it has the ability. So I would say it's not a physical thing, but a allotted fund for project discovery.
And PNC Bank's put a lot of pocket parks.
There's this urban betterment thing that you've touched on before, and it's really,
That might be something to go after for this.
see,
Because they even have that thing at the Betty Bridge, those pocket parks inside the Betty Bridge.
Matt. One seated project, what does that look like?
The one seated project, I would like to, art project, I would like to see performance. I would like to see
Where?
space. Where?
Mhm.
I don't know.
The Irie.
I would like to see, I would like to see dedicated, I would like to see a dedicated amount of money that allows people, artists to come in and actually do performance and either earn money while they're there or to be funded to do that there, and to create sort of an activated space through temporal work and not necessarily through permanent fine art. I don't care where it is.
Okay.
It could be on the street, it could be in the mall, it could be in a business park. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'd like to redefine mine.
Your interactive piano.
I want to make that more with the light. I think that the visual of the light installs with projectors.
And people being
Where?
able to,
I'd say it doesn't matter. I think it would go better on Wisconsin Avenue because you've got several tall vertical buildings, but I am very unfamiliar. I've never walked the artery, and that's something I really need to do, or just bike it or whatever it might
We should go there today.
Yeah. All right. Man.
Our girlfriends are at Spa Day, so.
Yeah, Kid Man Day. Already is.
Man, Dave, let's go take a bike ride.
I know. I'm like, that's
Yeah, maybe I should rephrase that. It was called.
No, it's up at the table. That's just happening.
a mandate.
This is sort of an economic development initiative with like, there's a Milwaukee Economic Development Commission or Committee, there's WEDC, and wouldn't then, if we're gonna activate inactive spaces and bring business in that might ultimately need capital to invest in that space, wouldn't US Bank, Chase, Wells Fargo be interested in maybe being a potential sponsor or match?
Especially if it activates their area.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been talk about like, where are the other bridges in the city? Like, we want to have swings too.
You know, the other group that would be
That would
interested
take a lot of
might be
money.
Western Mutual. I mean, particularly if you tie in an educational component to
Yeah, because they've sort of shifted their,
the focus.
By the way, I highly recommend for this afternoon, if you have nothing going on, check out the swings. It's right on the Marsupio Bridge, right by Trocadero.
We can do that too
Just
for our
on the
Spa Day.
Monday, okay.
Okay.
Well, come check out me and Jared.
See if you're one idea.
The an interactive, connective pathway between the Third Ward and other parts of downtown and the Third Ward. I'm sorry, between West Wisconsin Avenue and other parts of downtown, including the Third Ward.
That's mine too.
No one saw that coming.
We're just waiting.
Yeah, I think for me, it's not really the art installation as much as I'm seeing this as kind of creating a seed fund for artists to come in and transform communities. And, you know, we talked a lot about the importance of community place and ultimately funding to really make startups happen. Well, that's the same way with art, you know, you gotta have community place and funding. And this could be an important part of like activating all that that's in place.
Yeah, and that's the way I see, this whole project being that we're just gonna create a process or system for that money to flow to see those projects. I know that I had also talked about, though, actually seeding a couple of initial projects that maybe already continue work that's happening, just so people can wrap their minds around what we're trying to do.
people have to see what it,
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have
So we're
anything.
up to the
I don't know that we
That
need
you
to
would
put that in a grant though, because I think things change. Things change so much.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we could say that we're gonna seed a couple of
And these,
projects to get going.
this is what we think, they might be, like something like this, and then, okay.
so if we're talking about a lot of public art stuff, would Marn and Insight be good potential partners?
Mhm.
What's that inside?
Yeah, I
Peggy
think all the art groups.
It's what?
Peggy Taylor Christensen.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
yeah, she does
Peggy.
a lot on that.
Peggy is awesome.
What's the first one you said? Marn?
Marn.
Marn, Milwaukee Artist Resource.
Wah, wah.
Oh, so sad. I don't know how to read.
I want to see the open and this move done out of you.
Pretty dangerous for that baby.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know
So
how to-
that thing comes out.
I know.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
easy. Boy. Oh, okay, there we
You may not want to look inside to see what's really in there.
go. Gremlins.
I cleaned that this morning. Okay, how do we feel about this?
This is so sad.
I think it's good.
Yeah, I think, you know, maybe like some next steps are if we put together like what we thought that LOI would look like, and we get a look at it, And then I think since it's a city county, we have to tie down,
Yes,
we get those meetings set up.
yep.
And then I think, in my mind, the secondary thing would be, we gotta put a budget together around it, and what that budget looks like.
Mhm.
We'll know more, I think, after I talk to Carol.
Yeah,
But the other piece is, I think beyond that, just getting grant apps, one thing, but if we can also get keep some other things moving, like talk to Herstal, talk to, some of these key foundations, or talk to some of the corporations. I just think if we could get it going.
Yeah, I agree.
I haven't mentioned anything about this, because the stuff you have written about there, like cost for the data stuff, seems pretty spot on. I think the idea is that all the data stuff, the website, web dashboard, whatever,